just like when a government bureaucracy comes out with, a recommendation. It's not a requirement. It's just a recommendation. We recommend that when you make a crock pot, you make it come up to a particular temperature because they could get food poisoning if meat is held below a particular temperature. So we recommend that all crock pots always have the contents at above a particular temperature. Well, and that's why when you buy a new crock pot, it burns everything. Well, and the newest thing that's got, I think, me and Felicia and Corey, we don't even have to talk to each other, but we know we are all in agreement on this outrage that will not stand. They are now recommending that people not be allowed to eat raw cookie dough because it's dangerous. But it's just, it's just a recommendation. Just a recommendation, not a requirement, just a recommendation.
They're not recommending, they're bossing.
But it becomes a recommendation from a government agency, becomes a mandate, because we all know that if you have a particular lawyer, that lawyer will sue and say, well, this particular company neglected to obey the government's recommendation, so we're going to sue them. So then this is what happens when Sunbeam looks at making their crock pots. Or actually whoever makes the crockpot company, they looked at the recommendation and said, you know what, to avoid lawsuits, we'll just go ahead and start manufacturing all our crockpots with this higher wattage to go to a higher temperature, because we know it's not a government mandate or a rule, but I don't want to get sued. And now there's going to be a law that there will probably be warning labels put on our Pillsbury cookie dough that will not be allowed to eat it, and we'll probably be risking large government fines.
Which is also stupid because it's all pasteurized anyway. I mean, it's
but you never know.
Really raw, cookie dough.
But if we let you eat the pasteurized stuff, that's going to teach your children that raw cookie dough is okay, and they might not know the difference between the pasteurized stuff that they can buy that has the little Pillsbury Doughboy on it versus the stuff that their ignorant mother makes in that bowl with those eggs that she probably did not cook, or that she probably did not clean thoroughly. And so we're protecting the children.
You're saying this is gateway cookie dough?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, that does. Might have kids just so I can corrupt them and teach them how to eat raw cookie dough.
After the show is over, I'm going into the kitchen and I am making raw cookie dough, and I am just going to eat it.
I know. You know what? Actually, this story might convince Andy that it's okay to eat raw cookie dough, because when we first got married, I would always eat it out of the bowl, and he'd freak out. And it wasn't because it had raw eggs in it, but it's because he wanted to make sure that every piece of dough reached its full potential as a fully formed cookie.
Well, it's just as good in its young state. A little teenage cookie that's raw is just as good as the elderly cookie that comes out of the oven.
No, it isn't.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing the work to make the cookies. I can eat it whenever I want to.
You see, this is a marital issue. Corey has never actually cooked anything. What do I know? What I know? Yeah, Corey, as she makes food, picks and snacks at it the whole time. She's always completely stuffed by the time it comes time to eat. So I eat a little.
Andy, give me the shovel, Andy. Give me the shovel. Put it down.
And then the party of choice died.
Remember when? I remember the first time I showed her the dial where you turn on the heat on the oven, and she just
what's that?
Don't turn that. The house will explode. No, it's our friend.
I will tell you that I bought cookie dough from the kid next door this year, and the bucket of cookie dough isn't here anymore, and there were no cookies baked. I'm not saying I ate it all as raw cookie dough, but I'm not saying that either.
Why did men discover fire for you? Why did we discover fire for you?
Because our feet were cold.
I think the important thing here, though, is we all are very committed to finding out whether Andy's couch is comfortable.
Actually, it's pretty nice.
That next week.
I invested a lot of money in it, just because. So it's very nice.
You had your reasons. So I think that this should be protested. I think that
the cookie dough ruling.
If somebody were to make a vine of them eating cookie dough and just say that it's in protest to the FDA's rulings.
Julie Borowski video in 3, 2, 1. The great thing about this story, though, coming as it does on the heels of everything else we've talked about, this is an in that we can use. If the government is micromanaging whether or not you can eat raw cookie dough, if they're getting involved in that decision in your life, how many more things do they want to control? It's a beautiful opening. They had to make some adjustments in order to have that tax rolled back or rebated to them. And then what they said is that these churches had to actually preach a little bit on environmentalism.